Hello, everybody. Jim Malone here, coming to you live on Dallas Trading Floor. Gotta check my audio levels here. Hopefully they're working. Good, they're working. What do you know? Been having some technical problems, but I'm getting better at this. By the way, the market has moved up very, very nicely, and we're looking at getting. We're looking at a new uptrend. So hopefully we can trade this uptrend. I've been moving more into the market than I've been, and just kind of wanted to show you some of the big stocks that are being bought right now by major institutional investors. So that's something that we could probably take a look at right now in terms of the stocks. I want Zim. I don't know if you've heard about Zim, but it's a shipping company doing very, very well. It's being heavily accumulated. There's Alpha and Omega Semiconductor. I just bought this one. I just basically bought this one yesterday, doing quite well. Darling Ingredients. Interestingly enough, this is a company that recycles grease, of all things. It recycles grease. The symbol on it is DAR, doing quite well. David Buster's, you're probably familiar with them if you're a gamer. The company Titan Machinery, that's also good. There's one I did also buy today. It's called Joe, St. Joseph Company. Now, this is the largest landowner, private landowner in the state of Florida, and they're doing quite well. It did move across a buy point. Triton International, that's up, and also Palo Alto Networks, which is in the security space. Here's the stocks that I did buy today. Kind of want to show you this one. We talked a little bit about it. St. Joe Company, and currently it's about 59.18. It is, I think it's still viable at this level. I just want to jump on over here to the. I want to jump on over to the chart and take a look at it, just kind of see how it closed. But this one is St. Joe Company. As you can see, just boom, it just went up. There was a buy point at about 55.49. It just sailed past that, and I'm not totally sure why everybody is acquiring this one, but they are, and indeed, look at that. It's got a 100% checklist. Just wanted to show you that. On the technicals, we are a little bit extended here. The 10-day line is at 7% above that. So if you were to buy it here, this would be a little bit extended. Typically, we want to buy right in the buy zone. The buy zone going from about 55.49 on up to about 58.09. So that's where the buy zone is now. It's probably best to wait a little bit on this one, but this one is doing quite well. It's interesting area. It's in the real estate development operations area, which seems to be doing quite well right now. So just kind of an interesting, interesting thing. Here's another one that I bought. It's called On Semiconductor, and this one is up strongly today too, 62.55. And jump on over to that chart on Semiconductor. This is one I am buying. I did buy a full position in this one, and I think it's in one of my individual portfolios. And this one also is performing very, very well. Right now, we seem to have, at least for the time being, turned the corner, and we're moving a little bit higher in the market. So there are things to buy. It's not totally bleak like it was before. I think we've taken an upward trend. The reason I bought this one, of course, is because it moved past this line of resistance here, which is the reversal line. It did move above the reversal line. It did settle a little bit lower, so we'll see if we can hold it tomorrow. But indeed, with this, it's got a 100% checklist on this stock. So this one also is looking quite good. So there are starting to, we're being able to start to wade into the market. Let's take a look at the major indexes. Just kind of want to show you that. This was taken at noon. So the Dow is up. So is the S&P 500. The Nasdaq is up, and the Russell is up. So all three of them are up. It was led really by the Nasdaq. So let's kind of look over the Nasdaq and see and get an idea of that. But the Nasdaq Composite, of course, this is all of the Nasdaq. This one is looking very, very good. I mean, we finally reversed about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days ago. We reversed it. We are fortunate. We're above the 50-day line. That's critical, above that 50-day line, and that is showing some very nice progress. Now, hopefully we can keep this progress going. As you can see, it moved up and it's moved above that 50-day line. That's showing a lot of strength in this market. So that indeed is looking quite good in terms of where we're going in the market. So it finally is getting to a point where we could possibly wade into the market. I just wanted to show you the small portfolio. This is a portfolio that we keep. Basically, we have. When we started just a few days ago, we were almost totally in cash. And now we are coming into the market very nicely. We've got Berkshire Hathaway, BRKB, of course, in the portfolio. We've had that for just a few days, about 19 days. Everything else is about 5 days, so we just started last week. Arista Networks, ANET, doing quite well as well, up about 7.25% in 5 days. Also, Occidental Petroleum, up about 2.75% in about 5 days as well. We do have Costco. Now, we did add St. Joe Company. It's down slightly in trading. We did add it, and we'll see where that one goes. But we're starting to see some nice movement in the market now, and that indeed is a good thing. Also, want to show you all of the stocks that I currently have in the market. As you can see, the new buys are down at the bottom. That's On Semiconductor and St. Joe Company. They're both up on the day. We did also add AMD, and that was added yesterday. And then, of course, we have Alpha Omega Semiconductor. That's up strongly today. Let's go look at that one, AOSL. This is one of the ones that is on the list as being heavily accumulated by many of the institutions. So AOSL is the symbol on Alpha and Omega. There we go. On this one, you know, it's really kind of moved. It's a little bit extended here, but this is a very choppy pattern. It seems to be holding up very, very well. Kind of want to show you the checklist on this one. This is also 100% checklist on this. It's also 100% checklist on this one as well. So this is looking very good, and it's probably not as actionable as it was today or yesterday because it is pulling up to that through that buy zone. But there is a higher high at 64, so we're still below that. So really, I mean, this is the pattern rec. This is the AI pattern rec here, but it's possibly actionable at this level. So looking pretty good on the pattern recognition for this one. We're basically about 7%. We're 7% above the pivot, and so we are a little bit. You know, typically you want to buy within 5% of the pivot, but this one is looking pretty good, and we will see. You know, because there is a lot of action on on the semis right now. That's just the way it works. Let's look at NVIDIA. I'm not currently in NVIDIA, but I want to see how this closed out. It closed off a little bit. We're above the reversal line. This is also a kind of a key area for the semis. This is what I've been buying. I've been mostly buying the semis, but again, I do own some of the oils. I own Hess, and I own Occidental OXY as well. So those are looking fairly good as well. So this is kind of some of the things that you can get into. Still recommend being in the resource stocks. The best area of the market currently, the number one area of the market currently is in the international E&P oil and gas area. And the numbers that are in that particular area, because that's I typically look for strong. I look for strong support. I mean, I look for strong industry group status. I mean, I want to see this. I want to go to the strongest of the of the of the groups and look for the strongest in those groups. Now, currently, that would be right now. I do own Occidental Petroleum, and that one does have earnings in one day. So I may be closing this one out. Just wanted to warn you there. We're looking at we're looking at earnings in one day. I'm probably going to be a seller here tomorrow on this one, just because we don't typically. I don't like to, unless I'm above 10% or better. I don't like to hold it through earnings. So I'm probably going to be a seller of Oxy. But if it moves through earnings like I expect it will, I think it will do well. Then I probably will be a buyer on the other side. But right now, I'm going to put in my hold it, sell Oxy, because I am up on Oxy. I want to check back, make sure that kind of see where I'm at, because I have that in the small portfolio. Okay, let's look over here. All right, no. Let's go to these. Just going back to my small portfolio here. I'm probably going to be selling Oxy tomorrow, and the reason, nothing to do with Oxy, just has to do with the fact that I'm up, but I'm only up 2.79%. So I will be selling Occidental Petroleum as it's one day to earnings, as you can see right there. So one of the rules of thumb when you're swing trading, like I do a lot, is that you don't want to hold through earnings. So I'm going to be exiting Occidental, and we'll make a little bit of money there. It's up after hours. We'll make a little bit of money, but we'll be selling this one into strength. That's kind of what you want to do when you have that. So that is, without further ado, that's kind of the way it goes. Let's talk to Matt. Thank you, Matt. Let's look at CMRE for Matt. Okay, CMRE. You can see kind of what's going on there. Because this is pulled back a little bit in the after hours here, but it's still in the buy zone. It is still in the buy zone. So this is also in a very strong area in the market. And of course, that is the marine area, the international marine transport. It's right at the bottom right now of the buy zone. Let's kind of take a look to see. Yeah, we're basically at 2% above the pivot, 100% checklist. Boy, that's something good. And so this one looking very, very good. CMRE, this is Costumaire. Shipping company. You wouldn't think these would be a good area, but this area, the ship transport area, very, very strong. Very, very strong area. So it has continued to be a strong area. One of the things you've got to look at here in this market is you've got to look at the resource stocks. You've got to look at the resource stocks, but you also have to look at the bulk carriers. That has been a very strong market. All right. Let's go to the next question. Background music is still playing. Oh no. Okay. Let me check. Too many controls. I mean, Yeah, I didn't take that off. All right. Thank you very much. Thank you very, very much for that. For telling me that the background music was still playing. Oh boy. Thank you for that. Very, very much. All right. Okay. So let's look at XAM. XAM. And this one, if I can get Exxon Mobil. I'm sorry. Wait, I should know Exxon like the top of my head. Now, here's the thing about Exxon. I do like the company, of course. And by the way, if you're interested, we just bought my brother and I. We just bought some houses down in the Houston area. And it's actually in a place called Conroe, Texas. It's very close to Spring, Texas. And that's where Exxon is going to be moving its headquarters. So I have one more to rent. I've rented two of them. I'm trying to rent the third one. If you're interested, just email me. email me if you're going to be working for Exxon Mobil or something like that. I do have a beautiful house that is for rent, and that's just as an aside. But I do have a beautiful house that's for rent, and it's right in Conroe, Texas, which is in the Woodlands. So, anyways, getting back to Exxon Mobil, which is more important. Exxon has been moving up this, but I don't think this is as strong. This has a 98 checklist, which is, by the way, excellent. But I don't think the setup is good on this one as it is on Hess. It's still worth buying, but it's extended. The buy point on it is 66.38. So we're a little bit extended in terms of that buy point. This is the number one area. The international. No, I'm sorry. Well, this is the integrated oil and gas is the number 10 on the list. But I want to show you Hess, because I think this one might make a better buy. Not sure. This is what I'm in. This is Hess, and it is above. It also is above its buy zone, but it is making a higher high. So that's something that you want to look at. It's just pretty much the same checklist as Exxon, but this one you might like a little bit better in terms of some of the characteristics on it. This is coming out of the buy zone. Exxon Mobil is a little bit extended for where it is. So that's something that you want to consider. What do I mean by extended? I want to kind of give you an idea of this. The way stocks trade is that they have these long basing periods, and then they kind of step it up. So as you can see here, this was the first one. This was kind of the first level, and then it based, and then it stepped up again. And you typically want to buy within this range from about from the pivot on up 5%. That's about however far you want to buy, because what will happen is it'll trade within that range, and then sometimes it will pull back. That's kind of what's happening with Exxon. Exxon moved all the way up here to 91, but now it's pulled back, and it seems like it's reversing, kind of getting some support at the 50-day line. So that's looking pretty decent, and that's looking like that could possibly move higher. But basically, that's what you're trying to do. You're trying to buy as the stock is moving up through the pivot, at the pivot, and then up for about 5%, and then you want to not buy anymore. So with Exxon right now, unfortunately, we are in it's extended. So that's my only thing. I like the company, but XOM is currently extended. So I wouldn't be a buyer at this level, but if it forms a base, that's a formation like this, then you could definitely buy it. So I would watch this as one for right now. I probably would not be a buyer of Exxon at this level right now, but I would be looking in the area that Exxon is in, and there are some very good ones in there. By the way, there is a stock that I did buy. This is about 2 days ago. This is on Friday, I believe. This is Occidental, OXY. This is also one you should look at if you're looking at Exxon. You should definitely look at Oxy, because this one is being heavily acquired right now, primarily by Warren Buffett, but other people as well. This one doesn't quite have as nice. This is also moved up very rapidly as well, but I think this one also is worthwhile taking a look at if you're looking at Exxon Mobil. But excuse me, sorry about that. All right. Okay, let's look at SoFi and Roblox. I'm not sure that SoFi may come back, but right now I wouldn't be a buyer of SoFi, and the reason I wouldn't be a buyer of SoFi, very, very simply, is because of the trend of SoFi. It's just moving down like that, and it's also crossed below that 200-day moving average. That shows weakness in the stock, and as it moves lower, it is not looking, unfortunately, this is just not a good place to get into it. It's got a relative strength of 10. That means that 90% of the market is doing better than this stock. So you just can't really buy this one. So right now, it's with SoFi Technologies. I just think you got to take a pass on it, and I don't think it's worthwhile buying. But SOFI is not viable here. So really, this is not a place that you want to buy SoFi. It's well below that 200-day line as we were talking about before, and it's in a downward trend. So I want to see this thing reverse and move higher. Just not looking to buy something like SoFi because it just doesn't work, unfortunately, in the market. Let's look at Roblox. That's another one, RBLX, of course. And this is really big in the metaverse. But as you know, as of late, we have been having difficulty with Facebook. So Facebook is the leader in this area. So this is also a problem. We have the death cross on it, which means that the 50-day moves below that 200-day line. We also have we do have a reversal line here. It has moved above that reversal line, but just barely. So this is a weak reversal. We just don't want to buy at this point. It's just not the place. It's not the place to buy it. So RBLX is a weak reversal, not a buy right now. You just won't want to buy something that is below that 200-day. You just don't want to buy something that's below that 200-day line. You just don't want to do it because that's showing that, at least for right now, and notice how the 200-day line is pointing down. Well, what that means is that capital is flowing out of this issue, not into it. And we have what they call overhead supply, which is all this people that bought here. If this moves up just a little bit, these people will sell. So there's a lot of resistance as this stock moves higher. So right now, Roblox has a lot of things that just don't work that well. There's, Roblox has, has a lot of overhead supply. And the problem, of course, with all this overhead supply is that, anytime the stock turns up, there's this headwind, this weight of all these people that bought up here. You see, all these people that bought up here, and they're all going to be trying to sell what they bought up here because they're trying to cut their losses. So here's the thing with Roblox. Roblox has overhead supply, and SoFi, unfortunately, neither of them are really buyable, and that's not fun. So I would not buy either of them. Let's take a question from TikTok. Thank you very much. Talking about NVIDIA, which is a great stock, and we may be at a place where we can start accumulating some NVIDIA. Now, I didn't buy this. I was very much considering buying it as it moved above the reversal. I was very much considering buying NVIDIA as it moved above that reversal line. That's right here. That's this dotted line right here. And what that is that when it starts to move and starts to change, we want to see it change. We want to look to find a change in direction. Currently, up until very, very recently, this stock was in a downward trend. But when it moved past that reversal line, that indicated that indeed it has changed its course and it's going to start moving up once again. Now, it does have overhead supply. There's a lot of overhead supply in this. What do I mean by that? Well, everybody that bought up here, as you can see basically here, now that this has changed direction, and by the way, I was shorting it here, and now that it has changed direction, all these people that bought it here are trying to sell into strength. So here's the thing that you got to consider. Right now, I want to see more strength in this issue. I want to see it move above about 269, 270. We're pretty close to that. We're at 267. So where I want to see it move is up into this area, and I want to see it get rid of this overhead supply. So I'm going to wait to buy this one probably until we see a little bit more time above about 270. So really what I'm looking at to start coming into NVIDIA, and again, I do like this stock an awful lot. So, the time to buy NVIDIA is when it is above 270. So we really want to see it hold above 270. We really, really want to see it hold above 270 because that means, it's starting to base and it's moving higher. So that's where we want it to be. By the way, the original buy point on NVIDIA was 230, so we're pretty close to that. We have, what happened is it pulled up to this level, and it is now moving lower. So basically, what I would say on NVIDIA is, it's a great stock, but I probably will not be buying it until it can prove itself above 270. So that's really what I'm looking for in NVIDIA. Great stock, but again, the semis are problematic because it's not as favored a sector right now as the oil and gas area. So we want to be kind of looking at oil and gas. We kind of want to be looking at oil and gas as much as we can and look for things that we can buy there. Hey, so tuned into your fall asleep channel. Okay, well, good. Sorry about that. I'll be trying to make it more exciting. That's the thing we got to do, definitely there. What do you think about GME? Do you think it's back? Well, I don't know. GameStop, it was very exciting there for a while, but I don't think it's back. I unfortunately, I don't think it's back. We're starting to see a little bit of a movement on GameStop, but really the problem with GameStop, again, it's a problem with almost all these stocks that we've been looking at today. We're below that 200-day line, and the 50-day line is below that. So we're not in a place really where we can buy it. Will it turn up? Maybe. It's amazing that it is 139. It's up today a lot. Maybe it can move higher, but for right now, I just think, yeah, this is a crazy chart. This is the monthly chart here. And as you can see, it got all the way up to $400, which is incredible. Of course, people were trying to short it, but it became difficult to short. So hopefully it is now not in that case. Yeah, thanks, Brian. I'm sorry, I'm trying to fool with the music, and I think it's okay now. So hopefully it's okay. How is Tesla looking? Let's take a look. Tesla has been moving very nicely. Tesla is coming up on an area where we probably can buy it once again, and that's if it can settle above 1,000. And we're very, very close to that. As you can see, we're very, very close to that. So, this may be a tradable rally for Tesla. This may be a tradable rally for Tesla. Really, the area that I was looking to see that it could stay above was 900, and now we're almost at 1,000. So this might be a place where we could start coming back in. I do expect a pullback on this a little bit, but overall, this looks pretty darn good. And this would be a place that I would look to possibly getting back in, because the all-time high is about 1,200. So there's potentially 20%. There's a potentially 20% gain, between here and here. So that is not a bad place to look. So right now, could we buy it? Well, I don't like to buy anything 1, 2, 3. It's been up 6 days in a row. The thing about Tesla, you want to make sure that let's see it pull back a little bit, and because I do think we're going to get some selling. Yeah, we've got a little bit of selling, not a lot. We're going to get a little bit of selling, but then if it can hold this then we might might get back into Tesla, because 1,000 is a magical number for the stock, and I do think I don't think it's ended at all by any stretch of the imagination. Right, thanks, Jeep. Let's take a look at this stock that you're looking at, INDI. INDI, and let's look at it now. Okay, yeah, it's coming up. There we go. Indie Semiconductor. I don't know this company. I'll be honest. I don't know this company. It's 774. So it does technically qualify as a penny stock. It also is trading below the 200-day line. So I just think you got to let this one give this one time. It's just when it's trading below that 200-day line, this stock is trading below the 200-day line. So, it's just not time for it. That's one of the things you gotta look at, because it's trading below that 200-day line. And that 200-day line is right here. Yeah, this is it's not a good practice to buy anything below the 200-day line, because below the 200-day line, that means that money is flowing out of the issue, not into the issue. We want to be in things that are looking up and where the money is flowing. To that, let's take a look at the sectors of the stock market that are doing the best right now, and that's the key, is to see what is doing really, really well. And basically, the stock market is divided into basically 197 different subdivisions, and we want to typically look at the top 20% for candidates that are potential buys. So I'm just gonna try to get this to, there we go. All right, oops, nope. There we go. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna jump on over to that layout, and we're gonna take a look here. The one I'm looking at most, of course, is the International E&P right here. Also, if you'll notice, a lot of these are oil and gas. So we want to kind of look for this potentially to be the where we want to be. So let's look at the international oil and gas, see if there's anything we could buy in this area. This is the chart of the entire group. So we're at a situation where we possibly could buy those. Now, oil is, it's cyclical, but the top stocks in this, some of them are setting up. One of the ones, of course, I was talking about before was Hess. That one is quite good. Also, this one is potentially viable, OVV. This is a very strong stock. It's 99 relative strength. That is tremendous. This is also at a buy point, just right below a buy point. So this is one you might want to look at as a potential buy, because it is looking very, very strong. So OVV is looking very strong. And this is one, if you want to get exposure to this area of the market, and I think this is a really good area, international E&P area, this is one you might want to consider. It has it doesn't have 100% checklist, but it's very, very close to that. It's very, very close to that. On the technicals, it's right a little bit above the 10-day line. This is not a bad place to buy the stock. It has what they call an ascending base, and the buy point on this one is 50.87, and we're basically right there. We're at 50.63. So if you're looking for something to buy in the best, if you're looking for a very, very strong stock to buy in the very strongest sector, this is one you might want to put on your watch list. OVV is the symbol. Again, I'm not recommending it, but it's showing lots and lots of strength. And that's where we want to be. We're still in a market where we have a lot of inflation pressure, and the price of oil is going up, and this will benefit from that. So we're currently at a situation where this has a 98 relative strength. That means this is in the top 2% of all the stocks out there. So you might want to put this one on your watch list. OVV is the symbol for this one, and I definitely like it. I don't own it, but I'm looking to possibly put another position on it because you just want to be exposed right now that we're coming into this tradable rally. We don't know how long this tradable rally is going to last. It may last, may only last a few weeks. We're still, there's still a lot of inflation. Interest rates have been going up. We want to be exposed to the part of the market that's going to give us the best bang for the buck. And right now, that's the oil and gas area. So the number one area, of course, is the international E&P area. And OVV is one of those that seems to be doing very, very well. So that's one that you might want to take a look at. Let's look at Shopify for Samuel. And Shop has been a great stock. The question is it going to ever come back? And well, let's look at it. Right now, we're in a situation where it is pulled down, and I'm just showing you the monthly chart. So this is the kind of the 20,000 foot view on it. On the weekly chart, if we kind of move back a little bit, we're still in this downward trend. And as you can see, we have essentially, this is what they call the death cross. Now, the question is it possible to buy this thing and have it come back? Well, here's something that I don't like about this stock right now that I kind of want to put out there. And that is on the fundamentals, we have we're starting to see losses, which is not good. We're starting to see lower profits, not something you want to see in a stock that you want to buy. So I'm not looking, doesn't look good to me right here, unfortunately. Now, we did get a little bit of a movement up above the 21-day line here. That's this green line here, but it can't seem to move above the 50-day line. So here's the thing. I think that this one possibly is a potential short. Now, I don't like to short in a rising market like we're in, but I really believe that, believe it or not, Shopify, SHOP, is a potential short. And I'm not shorting it. I don't like to short in a market like this. But you got to be that you don't want to buy this one long right now. It just doesn't look good. Not something that you really, really want to be in, I'm afraid. The checklist is 44%. That's not very good. On the technicals, it's true we're above the 10-day line, the 21-day line, but we're below the 50 and the 200. So right now, this is just not a good stock to buy. So not a good stock. I think that's really kind of what you gotta say. We really don't want to be in Shopify. Shopify, it's had its day. It may come back, but there's a lot of people in here that bought, at $1,700 and have lost a lot of money. And there's a lot of funds, and there's a lot of people that are going to have to get out of this stock. So what I'm trying to say is, I don't think this is where you want to be in the market. I don't think you want to be in the market because it's not. This is a declining stock right now. All right, let's look at Chewy. Chewy. Years ago, I worked in Silicon Valley. I was actually in Silicon Valley doing startups. This is like in around the year 2000. I worked for a company, and I was so envious because I had friends that worked at something called Pets.com. And of course, that was the biggest failure probably in history, in advertising history. But I'm glad I wasn't there. but when they were working there, I was like, man, why can't I be at a company like, why can't I be at a company like Pets.com? And of course, they were a total failure. But Chewy looks like it's not a failure. It looks like Chewy is doing all the right things. But unfortunately, their stock isn't. I mean, I think a lot of people are buying their doggy treats online, but I don't think this is a very, very good pattern. This is not a very good chart. As you can see, we're in a downward trend on this one. So would I buy this thing? No. And here's why. Here's what you look for. When you see this is the 200-day line. You see it sloping down. See it sloping down? that means that money is flowing out of this issue. There's just a lot of people that bought Chewy, even some big funds, and they're going to have to sell. And the reason they're going to have to sell is because it's probably going to go lower. So I expect Chewy to go lower, at least in the near term. So CHWY is likely to move lower. I just wouldn't be a buyer of this one. Chewy doesn't look chewy to me. It kind of looks like chewed up. It's chewed up. This is headed lower, and I don't think that buying Chewy. I know that a lot of these names worked when everything in the market was going up, but we're in a very different market now than we were 2 years ago. 2 years ago, just about everything worked, and it wasn't a problem. Today, boy, I tell you what, we've got to be super careful. We got to be. This is a stock picker's market, so we want to be in areas of the market that are having their best market. So back to that, let's look at another area that is looking very good, and that's the metal and mining ores, believe it or not, area of the market. I want to show you this chart here, and what this is basically is this is mining. Of course, we all know about that, but as you can see, it's moving up very, very nicely. This is the right now, this area of the market is one of the top areas in the market. This is basically the 7th out of 197. So if we're looking for stuff in this area, we're going to find things that possibly are better than we could find in other areas. Now, there are several great stocks in this one. There's a lithium play, Sigma Lithium Corp. I don't know much about this one. I don't own this one. This is sort of a penny stock, and it just moved above a pivot here at 1230. So I don't know if you could buy this one. I don't know if you could buy this one on this at all, but it's SGML. That's the symbol on it, and we're looking at the daily chart here, and people seem to be buying this one. I don't know anything about it. Not a particularly great checklist, 67%, but this is not an area. This is an area that you might want to take a look at. There was a large amount. There was a buy point on this one at 1236. We're currently at 1352. I don't own this one, but if you want to get exposure in a top area, this is the kind of thing you want to look for. You want to look for the top areas and what's doing the best in the top area. So now that I've yammered on, let me take some more of your questions. All right. Okay. So when did you start trading full time? Well, gosh, I started trading full time. Goodness, I've been trading for over 25 years, but really full time about the last 4 or 5 years. I was a financial consultant for Deloitte and a few other things, and then, I just started trading full time and going on YouTube, which is more fun. So I've been doing it for quite a while. I mean, I've been trading it for my own account for about 25 years. And then, of course, I was a financial analyst, and then I kind of just went on my own. So I've really been trading at least 5 or 10 years at this time. But for other people, and then also for myself. But for myself, really for about the last 3 to 4 years, I've been trading almost exclusively for myself. All right, let's look at TTD and look at the trade desk. This is an interesting company because along with Google and Facebook, this is kind of the other way that a lot of people are getting access to the market for ads. And this one did split 10-for-1. Very, very strong company, I think. It is trading. Right now I would watch this one. It is trading below the 200-day line, so I wouldn't be a buyer at this level. There's only a relative strength of 30, so that's kind of weak. I don't like to buy them below that 30, below the 200-day moving average. But I think that we are starting to see some strength. The 200-day moving average is starting to slope up just slightly, and it is looking a little bit stronger. I probably would not be a buyer here, though, just because of what I'm seeing in terms of this chart. It's a 67 checklist, which is not bad, but it's not. There's better stuff on the market right now. There's just better merchandise out there right now. So, Doug, I appreciate the very much the recommendation, but I would not be a buyer at this time. All right, we are through pretty much for today. I kind of want to just go through, just kind of reiterate some of the things that we've been talking about today. Some of the areas in the market that might be looking very good. This is a list of companies that people are buying. So if you don't necessarily want to buy the oil stocks like I'm talking about, like OVV, which I do think is a very good buy, by the way. These are ones that you could possibly look at. Palo Alto Networks is looking strong, Zim Shipping, that kind of thing. So just wanted to put that out there for everyone. If you're not already a member of the Trade Alerts, super easy to do. I'm probably going to try to put this out something today. I hope I can get it out tonight. Sometimes I overpromise and underdeliver, which is something you don't want to do in the world. But if you're not already on our Action Trade Alerts, super easy to do. Just go to www.Dallas Trading Floor, and if you're on the Action Trade Alerts, it's great. Also, we do have I think the list. Yeah, I think the list. We have the watch list. So this is something else that you could definitely go to. This is all at Dallas Trading Floor as well. But if to get the free list, just go to this address, https://bit.ly/DTF. That's Dallas Trading Floor 0099, and that will give you a ready list. That's a ready list. And the ready list is a great thing. I think there's 47 or 48 names on it. These are all ones that if they come above or close to that buy point, they might be actionable. So this is something else that you can get on. I'm going to annotate this list probably with the buy points, and typically you want to buy within about 5% of that buy point. But it's all available for free. And by the way, if you want to get in on our Discord room, we have a Discord room for everybody. That's also available at www.DallasTradingFloor. Now, this is a pay service, but we have a lot of satisfied people that have made money, even in this tough market. We are coming into a tradable rally, so hopefully we're going to have a little bit of opportunity here. It's a good time, so get the Action Trade Alerts, and hopefully we're going to make some money together, at least for the time being. It is a tougher market to trade than it was last year or 2 years ago. We've been sort of in this pull. We've been in a downtrend for a while, but I do think that we're having a tradable rally. They've washed out a lot of the weaker hands, and we may be able to see some very nice movement here in the market. So until tomorrow, happy trading, everybody. And thanks, everybody, for taking